It's round 8, and Peter Svidler with the white pieces faces world champion Magnus Carlsen. Now, it's a very important game, not only for the standings in the tournament and, well, for playing good chess, but also if you've been a subscriber on this channel or you just know from general knowledge, ever since their game in 2013 in the Kansas tournament when Peter Svidler defeated Magnus Carlsen, since then Svidler has a positive score against Magnus Carlsen. So it's a great opportunity for Magnus to equalize the score. Will he be able to do it? He does have the black pieces. We'll just have to wait and see. And also we do have some nice footage from the Grenke Chess Classic video team, so let's just enjoy that as well. Here we have a very nice close-up of Magnus, and since he shaved his beard, we're also using that one for our profile photo to the left, as you can see. Also, we have some nice footage of Peter Svidler here. There you have it. Really focused on the position, as you should be when you face the world chess champion. So let's just enjoy that for a brief moment. And also here we have some nice footage, again, Svidler pondering on the position, and in the back you can see, for the moment, blurry Carlsen checking up the game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and young Vincent Keimer, and you can see Vincent giving Maxime the stares. He can't help himself, but you know, that's just how it is. So that was the footage. I do hope you enjoyed that. Now let's check out the game. Svidler has the white pieces and he opens with e4, which means if you open with e4 against Carlsen, most likely you will get c5, and you better be ready for his World Chess Championship preparation. But after knight f3 and the knight to c6, Svidler didn't go for d4, he went for the closed Sicilian, knight to c6. And okay, we have e5 by Carlsen, bishop to c4 by Svidler, bishop to e7, and now d3. We have d6 and knight to d2. Svidler now starts remaneuvering this knight. He wants to go all the way to f1 and then perhaps to e3 or g3. Knight to f6 by Carlsen. He's now ready to castle. We have knight to f1. Knight to d7. Carlsen now wants to castle, play king h8 to get out of this nasty diagonal, and of course push f5, since Svidler is taking so much time to remaneuver his knights to better squares in the opening. We have knight to d5 by Svidler, and now comes knight to b6. And here just knight captures. We have pawn captures on b6, getting a semi-open file for the rook, and c3 now, taking away the b4 and the d4 square from Carlsen's knight. We have castles by Carlsen. Now comes finally knight to e3 and bishop to g5 now. We have castles by Svidler and first king to h8. Carlsen now wants to push f5. And it's interesting, in 2001 in the FIDE World Chess Championship knockouts, Viswanathan Anand had this position against Vasily Ivanchuk, and Ivanchuk also played this king to h8 maneuver, but in that game bishop to d2 was played, and Ivanchuk won that game against Anand. But here Svidler goes for a3, and it's a new move in this position, so it's now, as of move 13, that we have a completely new game on our hands. So Carlsen proceeds with his plan. We have f5. Knight captures on f5, first a trade of dark square bishops, bishop captures on c1, rook captures on c1, and now bishop captures on f5. We have e captures on f5, and now not recapturing immediately, but first you want to get that sweet d5 move in. It's the dream of any Sicilian player. You know, if you're able to go d5, then everything will be all right. So d5 first. Forcing Svidler's bishop to go back, bishop to a2, and now finally recapturing. Rook captures on f5. Queen to g4 now, pressuring the rook, but just rook to f6. It's a very nice dark square, so you don't have to worry about anything bad happening to the rook. And here Svidler goes for f4. Seems like a temporary pawn sacrifice, but it's not all that clear what white gains in return, but it's not all that easy to find a better move. Maybe just getting the rook to a better square and waiting for Carlsen to make a move, but here Carlsen just captures it, and you are not able to recapture it. If you recapture, then you get knight e5, attacks the queen and the d3 pawn, and after you move the queen back, just rook captures, and captures here. Will win you the game for black. So after e captures on f4, queen g5, not allowing knight e5 to come with an attack on the queen, and now Carlsen says, okay, I'm just gonna defend my f4 pawn, I'm gonna give the d5 pawn away. So Svidler wins back the pawn, and now just rook to d8, forcing his queen back. Queen to f3, and now knight to e5, forcing the queen to move yet again. We have queen to e4, and now knight to g4. So you can see that the queen and rook battery are keeping an eye on the f4 pawn, and now Carlsen plans to bring this knight over to e3, which will pretty much numb any influence Svidler's rooks have. Rook c to e1 by Svidler, and now just knight to e3. So now the pawn and the knight are completely blocking off Svidler's rooks. We have rook to f2, as the rook was attacked on f1, and now comes rook to e8, attacking the queen. Queen captures on b7, and now that the queen finally left the scene, g5 by Carlsen. And here you can see that the material on the board is pretty much equal. Svidler is up a pawn, but it's not really a pawn that matters. What's important is that Carlsen's rooks are much more active, and his knight is a much better piece than Svidler's bishop here. I mean, it's a beautiful diagonal, but it's not really doing all that much here, whereas Carlsen's knight here is really keeping control of the board. And here, it's hard to find a move. Carlsen wants to play g4. You could block it, let's say h3, but then just h5, g4 is coming either way. So Svidler tried a different plan. He went rook f to e2, seemingly baiting g4. Carlsen said, okay, I'm gonna go g4 either way, and now he just retreated with the rook to f2. We have queen to h6. Now if pawns start marching forward, the queen will be protecting the knight here, and also if g3, then queen to h2 will immediately be a threat. Queen to c7, and then now comes rook to f8, just again putting a lot of pressure across the f file. And g3 is coming. There's really not all that much you can do here. Svidler played h3, and now just g captures on h3, and here g3. Again, not a lot of resistance, but there was no better move. F captures on g3 by Carlsen, and now comes rook captures on f6. Carlsen's queen is under attack, but it doesn't matter all that much because black has a decisive attack. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the winning idea for black. I'll give you a couple of seconds.